Exercise 310 gives us a front view and a top view, and we also notice that it's in metric. I didn't even really look because when I installed, the default install was for ANSI inch, and sometimes when I do the install I pay attention if I told it on the first where it asks what units and what standard. Sometimes I remember to pick ANSI. Most of the time I just leave it at ISO. It doesn't really matter. We're going to be able to change those. And our strategy here is going to be, do we want to draw this kind of side view first and generate that arc? Or is it going to be a little easier to draw this this shape? And because we have symmetry, anytime we can identify symmetry, we can draw the center line, draw half of our part mirrored over. So that being the case, I think I want to do this in the top view, and then we'll make this in the front view. And I'm kind of looking forward to my design intent, putting this into the drawing. I would bring this in as the front, and then when I drug this up, it would create the top. So not anything too crazy as far as geometry. We're still dealing with the arcs, but we do need to make sure that we go over to metric. So new, and one of the reasons that we create these other templates is so that when we recognize it we can jump into. But if you're using the standard part, one of the first things we can do is at the very bottom is switch to millimeters, grams, and seconds. If you start into your part and realize that you haven't changed it, it was still an inch, or vice versa, you set this to millimeters and you wanted it to be an inch, it's going to take you into the to the sketch, and then when you go to change it, it's going to kick you out of the sketch. So that always is a little problematic. So the other thing would be if you got it fully dimensioned and all your geometry in place, then scaling's not quite so easy. It seems like there would be a better way to say, oops, I put this in metric and all my numbers need to switch over. Alright, so yeah, let's just take a quick look what that is going to be like. So I put this in the top plane. I go into my sketch entities, I pick my center line, it's infinite length, it's horizontal. Don't think I need a vertical, so no, probably not. So I'll select, I start to put in my geometry, and I go place the first dimension, and I see the 0.35 and I think, wow, that's really small for metric. So I go ahead and escape out, I switch over to millimeters, grams, and seconds, and it kicks me out of the sketch. So I can tell I'm out of the sketch because my little red dot is now a little blue dot. I no longer see the confirmation corner, and the rollback line is below the sketch. So if we right click, edit sketch, the rollback line kind of grays out. And now when I place the dimensions, 88.6, that's a little closer to metric. And I don't think we need 6 decimal places, but 3 times for 12 millimeters. We'll put that in, and then that has 25 millimeters off of the center line. Alright, so since I did not get, if I drag that, I did not get vertical, I can see that kind of reference line that says, oh, in blue, you're above it, but until we actually apply the relation, it's not going to put it there. So I make vertical, so that was the select, control, select the origin, hold down the control, select the center of the circle, and put that to vertical. Alright. Quick note about this geometry really isn't that complicated, but if I wanted to, I can do a Control C, pick the kind of a different location, and Control V, and drag it till it's coincident. So those little yellow boxes, little green boxes. Another quick note about the little green boxes is if you are viewing sketch relations, you will see all those turned on. At some point your sketches will get complicated enough that those green boxes will take over. So usually I want those turned off just so that whatever I highlight, whatever I select, is going to show up. So since this is able to move, my only relation is coincident, whereas if I come over here I have vertical, and then over here I would see the diameters and the distance applied to the geometry. So since this did not pick up an equal, we'll go ahead and make it equal. And for this one, let's go ahead and do a couple of center arcs, center point arcs. And I'm doing the click on this one. Alright, and I'll do a click drag on this one. So I bring it over, I'm holding down the mouse button, and the only real difference is if you click, then it's going to kind of continue, and if you click drag, I don't know, it's just a preference. Alright, so I went back into center, I was looking for 3-point. Or we could do tangent, and that way we get the first tangent going. Alright, so select, control select, and tangent. So when I look at this, I'm going to get this tangent because I picked from that end going this way, and even though I drug that to the endpoint, it doesn't automatically assume tangent. I have to apply it separately. Alright, so we're going to have a radius of 18 and a distance of 50. And another radius of 50. And what was, let's see, and since those were also equal, let's go ahead and make the assumption or our design intent that those radiuses will stay. Alright, so that one's still in blue. We'll go with, let's go with the S key this time. And if I bring that down, let's see, 12, well, there's going to be, I'm making another assumption, but the arc, if I did that math real quick, that should be 9. Oh, we said that's 25, so, and a radius of 12, then we should have a little bit back, 8. 12 should be 20, so we should have about a 5 millimeter flat in there. Okay, so to that point, and I need to close this off because we are going to go ahead and extrude this. I'll just hit L on the keyboard. And for the relation, let's take the center point and the line and we'll make those coincident. And then I need the distance. So in this case, if I go between the center line, I see the half dimension. Here it's handy to have the full dimension of 16. Put that one in place. And then that way, when I go through to select, and based on the selection, I want all of these, but I don't want this. So if I go from right to left, I will get whatever's crossing. And if I go from left to right, I will get whatever is in the window. Right, so in this case, I'll just stop short, make sure that I'm getting the selection that I want. Control select the center line in this case, sketch tools, and mirror entities. So this time, since I had selected the center line, it grabs that right away. Alright, so if I come back in here, nope, not what I'm looking for. We could edit the sketch. And what I was doing a quick look for was a process that would let me jump right into, like I go into features and do the extrude. So from the sketch, if I were to exit the sketch, then the S key should go back to be ready to extrude. Pick the sketch, and it grabbed the contour, so I do have to watch for the contour. Okay, so in this case we'll just do the flyout and I'll grab sketch 1. Now that shows up with a minus sign. So I missed something. Yep, right there. Alright, so there's the contour region where I dropped the endpoint. That did not line up at the same, so I didn't get the exact geometry I was looking for. Alright, so if I go back to features this time and extrude, and it went to 10 millimeters, so that's fine. We'll go ahead and accept. My next sketch will be on the front plane, and from the center back. Okay, so we'll pick up a line. I don't know quite where that arc is going to end up at, so we'll leave it as undefined. I can go into the continuous tangent arc. Okay, so if I drag back to that point and then go a different direction, I'm going to get the different results of a tangent arc. Alright, so we kind of pull that out, and then it puts me right back into the line, but I want an arc again, so that one looks okay, so we'll do something like that. Alright, now I have a little better sense of where those are going to line up. Let's go ahead and close them off because I do need to tie those together so I don't end up with a thin feature. Alright, so if I was to turn on the temporary axes, and do need to identify because we have the axis for the radiuses and the center point, so let's go from there to the circle, and Control 1 puts me back into that view. And I'm going to still go to the circles because of the off chance that at some point I may want to give it an overall, or it's going to be a little handier to pick that or make that selection. 125, and that tells me that this did not go tangent. Oh, that one didn't go tangent. Okay. So based on how that moves, that did not go tangent. So I can pick the edge, and that's going to give me the geometry. Grab our circle, and that was a diameter of 20. And then try again. Oh, there it goes. So I'm not sure why it didn't give that to me on the first one. I thought it was there, but now I have access to it, so I'm going to go right into the Extrude Boss base. This is going to be a mid-plane, and it is also, oh no, this one was 16 millimeters. Okay, so that goes in, we accept it, and that point and that point I shouldn't see any little gaps or kind of separations in that geometry. We're through with the temporary axes, so we can turn those off. And now if I was to take this into a drawing, I would have the front view and the top view. So we'll save the drawings for later. We're just going to go through the sketches for now. So let's make sure to save this. And ready to go.